When Guardians of the Galaxy introduced Nebula and Gamora into the MCU, it was immediately clear that their adoptive father Thanos liked Gamora more. There's also a secret detail we all missed in the movie that shows how cruel Thanos is. And today we're going to be talking about Thanos' trick on Nebula and where Gamora is in Phase 4 of the MCU. So sit back and relax. First off, the sad detail we all missed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
The adopted daughter of the Mad Titan Thanos.
We all remember the movie had a funny scene best known for Star-Lord's middle finger joke about a Jack-in-the-Box, but a sad detail is hidden in that scene. When Gamora, Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot are all arrested simultaneously, her high-tech mugshot shows a lot of information about her biological features and enhancements. And well, Gamora has an enhanced regeneration implant in addition to her 2 arms, 2 legs, and different implants that make her stronger and smarter. This is a small detail that has never been talked about directly, but it adds a new level to how horrible Thanos was to Nebula because the upgrade he gave Gamora made it impossible for Nebula to ever beat her. Dang, that is dark. Up next, how Nebula's augments impacted her MCU story. Nebula and Gamora's fight at the Battle of Xandar shows that Gamora has an advantage over Nebula because she can heal quickly. During the fight, Nebula seems to have Gamora beat when she uses her electroshock batons to severely shock Gamora, who screams in pain as electricity runs through her body. But when Gamora takes the batons away from Nebula, she immediately gets over being shocked, kicks Nebula over the side of the ship they are on, and wins the fight. Nebula could have won that fight if Gamora hadn't been changed so that she could heal quickly. We think Thanos used this upgrade to hurt Nebula physically and mentally, turning her into a villain in Guardians of the Galaxy along with Ronan the Accuser. He not only made Nebula fight an opponent who was sure to hurt her, but he also replaced her body parts with machines that were messed up. All the while, he hurt Nebula's mind by giving her impossible goals, punishing her when she couldn't meet them, and telling her that her failures were her fault, even though he was the one who made it so she couldn't succeed. He also trained Nebula to stay loyal to him through this cruel cycle, which gave him power over her. And the Father of the Year award goes to Thanos. Now let's talk about Thanos' cruelest trick.
Is that of a pouty child, and apparently
Well, Thanos tricked Nebula into choosing him over her by making her think that beating her sister and making him happy were the only ways to avoid physical and mental pain. Even though Gamora begs Nebula to join her in fighting Thanos, Nebula still wants to please Thanos throughout Volume 1. This is probably why Nebula still has mixed feelings about her father and his death in Avengers Endgame. Thanos also said he wanted Nebula to be as strong as Gamora, but never wanted Nebula to win a fight. But he never meant for Nebula to be anything more than a toy to play with or a lapdog to control, even when the sisters were young and living with him. Before anything happened in Infinity War and Endgame, this Easter egg in Guardians of the Galaxy showed how cruel Thanos could be. Moving on to, so where is Gamora in Phase 4?
You will always be my sister.
We all saw the heroes who disappeared when Thanos snapped his fingers in Infinity War return in Endgame, but not the ones who died before that like Gamora. Luckily for her, Endgame used the time heist to bring her back, so her 2014 self could jump to the present. But Gamora's future was left in the air, and we don't know where she went after what happened in Endgame. But there are a few possibilities floating in space, just like her. The Gamora we see in Endgame didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy and was still willing to work with Thanos, but Nebula persuaded her to betray him. As of now, no one knows where she is right now. And since then, there have been several movies and shows from the 4th phase, but the MCU hasn't returned to space. Also, why is Gamora in Phase 4, followed by the planets Gamora could have gone to? Gamora's home planet was Zenwilberry, which was about to fall apart because of overpopulation. And as poverty was common, many children lived on the streets, and that's when Thanos and the Black Order invaded the planet and killed half of its people. According to Thanos, killing those people saved the planet because the resources were no longer used. But we all know that Thanos isn't that trustworthy. Thanos found Gamora, whose parents had been killed when she was fighting off a soldier trying to hold her down. This got his attention, and he decided to take her in as his daughter. And we think that since Zenwilberry didn't get destroyed, it's possible that Gamora went there after Endgame. Gamora would be in Zenwilberry to help the people there and stay out of sight for a while. Another choice is the Garden, where the remaining Avengers killed Thanos. Nebula knew that the Mad Titan planned to retire there once he restored balance to the universe, and since Gamora was the favorite daughter, she probably knew that as well. Also, Gamora's location gives Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a reason to visit more planets and learn more about her past. And we're hoping it'll be interesting to see how much her mind and view of the universe have changed since Avengers Endgame. Not to mention, Love and Thunder didn't have Gamora either. Most wondered if Thor Love and Thunder
that were really good. Mine is This Ends Here and Now
could bring Gamora back to bring the Guardians back together in time for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, with her struggles to fit back in being her story arc for that movie. But this theory didn't last long because it's clear that Gamora wasn't in Thor 4, and since this Gamora is completely different, it makes sense to let her character settle into the larger universe for a while and then bring her story back to the main plot of the Guardians. Also, Nebula, whose character growth has made her a favorite among MCU fans, gave fans more reason to hope that Gamora would be back with Thor, Star-Lord, and the other Guardians in Thor 4. More heartbreaking news follows. James Gunn confirmed that Gamora wouldn't be in the upcoming Disney Plus Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and it's safe to say that fans of Thanos' most dangerous daughter won't see either of them again until Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Coming up, Gamora's role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Listen to these words.
According to various sources, it's been confirmed that in the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Gamora and Nebula will finally meet up with the rest of the Guardians, and that the team finding Gamora will be a major plot point. We know it's a long wait, but it means that Gamora's jump in time from working for Thanos in the past to killing him in Avengers Endgame will get the attention it deserves. And yes, Gamora from the past could have come back to the Guardians in Love and Thunder, but that could have been bad for the character. Interestingly, Gamora has always been one of the most complex and three-dimensional members of the Guardians, which is impressive since her character could have easily fallen into any number of female space assassin tropes, or male gaze fantasies to be specific. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 can only continue Gamora's story if it focuses on her. Otherwise, the story would have to be rushed, or her character would be turned into a two-dimensional space opera stereotype. Now, we don't want that, do we? Finally, could Gamora be the big bad in Volume 3?
I'm not leaving without him.
She won't be the same person she was in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers movies, so she's likely to have a different personality. And according to Zaslav, who plays the badass green hero, not She-Hulk, has hinted that Phase 4's Gamora might have more in common with her adoptive father than with her teammates. Wait, what? Saldana has said that she wants to play a Gamora who lives up to her name as the deadliest woman in the galaxy. She added, "There's a part of me that wants to play a bad Gamora. I've never seen that, and she's thought to be the deadliest assassin and most dangerous woman in the galaxy, so I'd like to see what that wrath looks like." We saw Gamora's character change and grow throughout her time in the MCU, but that Gamora is dead, and the green-skinned living weapon we see in the MCU now hasn't changed. And we think the reason Gamora wasn't in Thor Love and Thunder are because James Gunn wants to use her younger self as an enemy in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That would be very interesting to watch. And that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Thanos' trick on his daughters? Do you think Gamora will be the main villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? And let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.